Okay, I think it might be harder for you guys to see me. I turned off my light. They have like a little switcher. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. I'm sure that worked for you guys. So, before I start this video, I'm going to, if you guys have actually been on my channel for a long time, you know that I did a series called Mermaid Tales, where I only did one episode. I'm thinking of continuing that series. By my bodyguard, I'm working on it. I just haven't got around to start making it yet, because I've been getting other stuff done. And I really want to continue Mermaid Tales. So we're going to do that. So, right now, I'm reacting to 5 horror stories animated. So, let's begin. Oh, now it works.
I was around 10 years old when this happened. Me and my 2 best friends and our parents were on a long vacation in Turkey in a very good and safe hotel. One night, me and my 2 best friends, who I'll call Tim and Phil for this video, were staying at Tim's room in the hotel while our parents were in the hotel restaurant. The room wasn't bad. Actually, all of our rooms seemed safe. At least we thought it was. We were having
you thought it was. Hotels are like the safest place ever. A motel, on the other hand, not. A hotel, yes.
A lot of fun watching The Simpsons and playing Monopoly, but what happened that night?
The Simpsons? Really? Why? Oh, look! Oh, you did. Look at it. It's so cute. Whoa, what the?
It still makes me have chills. So it was around 1 a.m. and our parents were late. Phil looked at them through the window and said, "They're still in that stupid restaurant." "Yeah, they told us they'll come back until 11 p.m. I answered.
So the girl is telling the story.
Guys? Someone is knocking on the door, Tim said. "It's probably just room service," Phil said. Can we not open the door?" I said.
I think
I was
she knows
pretty scared in that situation. I was only 10, and my friends were only 2 and 3 years older than me. So we were all pretty much defenseless children in a room. Tim, who was the oldest, answered, "Oh, come on, it's just room service."
Logical explanation.
The guy on the other side of the door said, "Hello. Can you please open the door?" When he said that, we were all scared. In a couple of minutes of silence, he said in a louder voice, "Open the goddamn door!"
Oh.
I started crying because I knew he was in room service, because if he was, he would have talked in Turkish. I was in shock as in that moment I realized that this strange guy is using a fake ID card to open the door. Tim grabbed both of us and we ran to the bathroom and locked the door. Luckily, the guy wasn't fast to get us. He was screaming to open the door. I said, "Look, a phone!" Luckily, Tim's mom left her phone so we could call her if we needed anything. So Phil grabbed the phone and called his dad and told them the situation. And they came up to find the guy nowhere.
Yep.
They thought we were lying to them until the hotel manager showed them the footage. We found out that the man was stalking us and a couple other children. In a couple of days, police had finally caught him. He was a serial rapist and a pedophile. We were just lucky he wasn't fast to get us. I will never forget that night, as that was the worst day of my life.
Ooh. Yep, another ad. So I have to admit that was actually like a really good story. Right, taking the next one. A true creepy and kidnapping.
When I was 15, my mother went out shopping and left me in charge of the house.
It's the mom and the kid
It was
from
starting
the
to
last
get dark,
video.
and I realized my little brother was nowhere to be found. I asked my sister if she knew where he was, and she said he had gone to
the girl from the last
his
video.
soccer ball around.
It's the...
I told her to watch the house while I was gone and ran off to the direction of the park. When I got there, I was surprised to find the park completely empty. I called out my brother's name, but there was no answer. I started to get worried. All of a sudden, I heard a faint, muffled noise coming from my left. I turned just in time to see a tall figure disappearing behind a large fence. I sprinted as fast as I could. When I came around to the other side of the fence, I saw something that almost made me choke in horror. My little brother was being dragged down the alleyway by a tall man.
It's the guy from the last story too.
Tears of anger streamed down my face. I ran at him and he must have heard me coming because he turned around to face me and he dropped my younger brother. The tall man tried to grab me, but I was running at him so fast that when I slammed into him, it knocked him off his feet. He swore and tried to get back up, but I just started stomping on his face. Without stopping to ask questions, I picked my brother up and ran as fast as I could back to our house. By this time, it was pitch black outside and my mother was home. She was frantic with worry, and when she saw the look on our face, she realized that something bad had happened. As I explained, my brother and I started crying, and my mom gave us both the biggest hug ever, and she cried with us. Eventually, the police were called,
with the police's
this guy was never
badges
found.
and stuff. They're all like screwed up. Every time a video ends, another ad just pops up. See? Another ad! That one was a good one too, I guess. Time for the next one.
This story takes place.
Oh my gosh!
When I was a junior
it's like the
high
same people from all the stories. I bet they're all just gonna be the same people.
school student. One morning during summer vacation, after my father went to work, my mother and I decided to visit my maternal grandmother, who lived in a rural area. Since my grandmother's house was located in the countryside, getting there required making a left turn, then driving for 5 minutes through a narrow, one-car-wide, unpaved road. There were rice fields and forest on the sides of the unpaved road. As soon as we arrived, I greeted my grandmother.
Hello,
And
Grandma.
went into my youngest uncle's room. I used to like visiting my grandmother's house because my uncle was a huge
Oh, maybe because you don't care about your grandma, you just care about the
gaming
electronics.
fan, and his computer was much better than mine at home.
Sure.
So once I confirmed my uncle was at work, I turned on his computer and started playing Doom 3, which used to be the most popular game once upon a time. After playing the game for about an hour or two, my uncle returned from work. Upon his arrival, my grandmother asked him to take her grocery shopping, since my mother, my aunt, and I were visiting her house. So at about 7 p.m., they all drove to town to do some grocery shopping. I was super excited and waved goodbye to them. Since I think it is unnecessary to explain why I was excited, I'll just leave it. After enjoying about 90 minutes of free time, my uncle called. He said he was about to turn left on the road, but one of the front wheels was punctured, and asked me to bring him a new tire which was in the storage shed.
Huh.
As I said before, after making that left turn, it took about 5 minutes to drive through a narrow, unpaved single-lane road to see my grandmother's house, but it took about 20 to 30 minutes on foot.
Oh.
Now that I think about it, it was quite scary to walk on that road, especially at night. It had no streetlights and was surrounded by rice fields and forest. It was almost 9 p.m., and that area got quite dark at about 8.
Well,
because it
you
was in the
obviously need
country.
streetlights and more houses.
So to be honest, I was really scared. But not wanting anyone to know I was a coward, I decided to go. I grabbed the tire, left the house, and started walking along the unpaved road. I could see my uncle shining his car's headlights toward me. That said, he was still quite far away from me, and the headlights looked like 2 big yellow dots. I was a bit relieved knowing my uncle and family were on the other end of this road, but the night was dark, which deepened my fear. You know, when you walk in the
I
darkness,
think at the end of this
your eyes adjust,
video I'm going
and you start to see
this
unclear
episode.
shapes.
I mean, at the end of
I
this
felt
story
like
I'm
I
going
could see
to
someone standing in the rice.
After the story, I'm going to stop the video.
And someone sitting down, resting his chin on his hands and looking at me through the bushes. I broke out in a cold sweat and held my legs to keep them from shaking. It felt scarier than being alone on a pitch dark night.
Oh,
and because of the fear and the delusion I had created, I remember feeling really dizzy. After walking for about 20 minutes, I looked towards my uncle's car and realized I was nearly there. Feeling happier, I rolled the tire faster. I rushed to hand over the tire to him as soon as possible, but saw something in front of me. I wasn't sure what it was, because it was still a bit away from me, but it was something dark. Suddenly, I felt strange and slowed down. Since I wanted to determine what it was while still having some distance, I strained my...
Why do white people always investigate? And why does the black man always die first? I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Dang Matt Smith.
my head and neck, trying to look carefully, but it was too dark. Although I was scared, I started to walk again, thinking, nothing is going to happen because I have my uncle and family about 300 meters away.
Are you sure about that?
But when I got closer to it, I stopped because it became clearly visible. It was an old woman squatting with her mouth open, looking at the rice fields. I could only see the side of her face, but my whole body shivered because her blank facial expression with her mouth open was now clearly visible in the darkness. Without realizing it, I walked really close to the old woman. For reasons I don't understand, walking by without saying anything seemed even scarier, so I started talking to her. With a frightened voice I asked, "Excuse me, what are you doing here at night?" But she did not respond and kept looking at the rice field.
Always investigating. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. It is not. Don't ever investigate. It's not the smart thing to do. Just, I would rather go behind her or just like scream at them. I would not just stand there and do nothing.
On the verge of crying, I shouted, "Excuse me!" She then looked at me, and I felt my heart tightening.
That's,
Even though it was dark,
that's not creepy at all.
I could clearly see she had permed white hair, and I could only see the white parts of her eyes. The scariest thing were the huge wrinkles and stains covering her face and her wide open mouth. I felt strange, like I was going crazy while looking at her. I had eye contact, but was looking down while she was looking up at me. After a few moments of eye contact, she turned her body toward me. Oh my gosh, I thought she was sitting down, but realized she had no lower body. She only had a torso and head which was supported from the ground with two...
Is that Japanese urban legend of, I think, Tiki is what it's called? Tiki. About the girl who got hit by a train and got cut in half. And she asks everybody, "Where are my legs?"
Two arms.
Yeah, that's probably what this is. Don't worry, dude. It's just a Japanese urban legend. Just tell her where her legs are and then just run off.
A flood of thoughts crossed my mind, but I remember thinking, there is Satan right in front of me. I felt like she was...
It's not Satan, it's just Japanese urban legend.
...going to run into me with her two arms if I didn't move. So I grabbed the tire in my arms and sprinted with my eyes closed tightly. Without remembering how long I'd been running, I suddenly felt relieved. It was the next morning, and I was in my grandmother's room. When I asked my mother what happened, she said she was waiting for me in the car and saw me sprinting with my head down, holding the tire in my arms, and suddenly fell off the road, causing my family to come out of the car in shock. After listening to my mother, I told her and my other family members what I went through.
Thank you, Grandma, for this tomato soup is what it looks like to me. Hey,
thinking I had suffered a heat stroke. That evening, my grandmother made me chicken soup. My uncle told me to stop playing horror games and wouldn't let me play Doom 3 anymore. From then on, I could only play a Star Wars racing game while staying at my grandmother's house. I still believe it was not a ghost that I saw that day. It was just an illusion caused by my mental weakness.
Not creepy at all. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Yay! Thank you for your nightmares. So that's it for this video, and I'm telling you, it was just a Japanese urban legend. Okay? So I'll see you guys there. Bye bye!